It was after 2 a.m. on June 12, 2016. Inside Orlando's Pulse Nightclub, the music was loud, the lights were flashing, and more than 300 people were celebrating Latin Night, a place of joy, laughter, and escape. But within minutes, the club would transform from a sanctuary into a war zone, as one man armed with an assault rifle unleashed hell inside its walls. This is the story of the Pulse Nightclub shooting, one of the deadliest mass shootings in U.S. history. Welcome to Crime Chronicles. The shooting began at 2:02 a.m. Omar Mateen, a 29-year-old security guard, entered the club armed with SIG Sauer MCX semi-automatic rifle and a Glock 9mm handgun. The first shots were deafening, a sound clubgoers initially mistook for fireworks or the music itself. Within seconds, the crowd realized what was happening. Panic erupted. People screamed, scattered, and tried desperately to find exits. Some hid behind the bar, some inside bathrooms, others dropped to the floor and pretended to be dead. The gunfire was relentless. Witnesses later recalled the terrifying silence between bursts as Mateen reloaded. The Pulse nightclub was packed. Narrow hallways and a single main exit created a bottleneck. Survivors described climbing over bodies, clawing at locked doors, and desperately smashing windows in a bid to escape. One man texted his mother, "Mommy, I love you." In the club they shooting. Another survivor recalled hiding in a bathroom stall, listening as Mateen moved through the club, firing at anyone he saw. Police arrived quickly and exchanged gunfire with Mateen, forcing him to retreat deeper inside the building. But then, the situation changed. What began as a mass shooting turned into a hostage crisis. Mateen barricaded himself inside bathrooms with terrified clubgoers, some of them gravely wounded. During the 3-hour standoff, Mateen called 911 and pledged allegiance to ISIS. He mentioned the Boston Marathon bombers and referenced U.S. military operations in the Middle East. His words fueled confusion. Was this terrorism, a hate crime, or both? Hostages trapped inside quietly texted loved ones, begging for help. Some messages would later be read aloud in court, chilling reminders of those desperate final moments. At 5:07 a.m., after hours of tense negotiation attempts, police made the decision to act. Orlando SWAT officers used an armored vehicle to breach the building's wall. Explosions shook the nightclub as tactical teams stormed in. A chaotic gun battle erupted. By 5:15 a.m., Omar Mateen was shot and killed. The siege was over, but the devastation was almost beyond comprehension. In the aftermath, the numbers told the story of horror. 49 people killed, more than 50 others wounded, families shattered, city and a nation grieving. It wasn't just a tragedy. It was the deadliest act of violence against the LGBTQ+ community in U.S. history. Orlando responded with candlelight vigils, murals, and the rallying cry of "Orlando Strong." But even as the community healed, questions continued to haunt investigators. Omar Mateen was a U.S.-born citizen, the son of Afghan immigrants. Outwardly, he lived an ordinary life, a security guard with a wife and a child. But beneath the surface was a storm of anger, instability, and radicalization. Years before the attack, the FBI had investigated Mateen twice after coworkers reported extremist statements. He was placed on, and later removed from, a terror watch list. Both times, the cases were closed due to lack of evidence. Mateen's personal life was equally troubling. His first wife described him as abusive and violent. He was obsessed with guns, violence, and at times, appeared unstable. So what drove him to murder 49 people inside Pulse nightclub? Mateen claimed the attack was in retaliation for U.S. military actions overseas, but investigators later found no direct ties to ISIS or other terrorist organizations. Instead, experts believe he was self-radicalized, drawn to extremist propaganda online. Others argue the attack was fueled by homophobia. The nightclub was a known safe haven for the LGBTQ+ community. Some survivors even recalled seeing Mateen at Pulse on previous nights, suggesting he may have been conflicted about his own identity. The truth is murky. Was this primarily a terrorist act, a hate crime, or a collision of both? The Pulse shooting sparked national debates on gun control, terrorism, and LGBTQ+ rights. It also exposed failures in the U.S. system for tracking potential threats. In 2019, the One Pulse Foundation announced plans to build a permanent memorial and museum at the site of the nightclub to ensure the victims are never forgotten. But even years later, the Pulse tragedy remains a painful scar in American memory. Survivors live with the trauma, families mourn, and communities across the nation wonder if such horror could strike again. June 12, 2016, was supposed to be just another night of music and joy. Instead, it became a night of terror, loss, and unimaginable heartbreak. The Pulse nightclub shooting forces us to ask, was this preventable, or was it an inevitable tragedy in a nation still struggling with hate, extremism, and violence? What do you think? This is Crime Chronicles. Thank you for watching.